What's up, traders? Zach here from the Trading Network. I hope you guys are doing well. I am back with yet another weekly market profile forecast for both the ES and NQ futures markets. So we are going to waste no time. First, starting off with the NQ session profile. I will look into the weekly profile, do the same with ES, and then we'll take a peek at the candlestick charts for both ES and NQ as well. First off, before we get started, I want to ask you guys, if you do enjoy this content, to please like, subscribe, and click that bell notification to be notified every single time we post videos here on the channel. And I once again want to give you guys a reminder that we are now offering free trials to our newest package, the TTN Volatility Pack. So if you guys are interested, check out our latest video talking about the Trading Network Volatility Pack and the free trials that are now available. You guys can find those on the Trading Network website. There's a link at the top that says Volley Pack. So with that in mind, let's get started here and discuss what I will be looking at for NQ first and foremost. And for those of you guys that watch these videos a lot, you probably know what I'm going to say. I'm going to be watching for reaction to Friday's high to see if we can get acceptance above Friday's high. If we can't get acceptance above Friday's high, then we are very likely going to get a retest of, at the very least, the value area low from Friday at 13,170. So you can see currently we are trading right around the POC from Friday at 13,222. Right now we're at 230. But that's going to be an important area as well. So obviously right now, because the market just opened a couple of hours ago, there's not much to be said about us, trading at this area. My concentration or my focus is going to be on when we open, whether or not we can move up and hold above Friday's high at 13,311, or whether or not, we get up there. If we can't get up there, if we get rejected from that area, I will be looking for moves first and foremost at 322 tomorrow morning, 13,170, and then down into the overnight high from Thursday into Friday at 13,138, and then a break back into the overnight range likely gets us down to 13,080, which is not only the overnight POC from Thursday into Friday, but it's also Friday's low. So very, very good confluence there. And then less than 20 points below that level, we have a naked point of control, which is Thursday's POC. So there is, a case for downside. There's also very thin structure here. You can see we have single prints basically from 13,130 all the way down to Friday's low. And then we have pretty thin structure here. We've got a single print, 13.2K. So what that means, for those of you guys not familiar, this entire profile really is pretty weak structure-wise. This is really around the POC, the only area that we spent a decent amount of time. And when that is the case, when we have a thin profile like this, and I will zoom in for you guys so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. See how there's not a lot of prints? A row of single prints here, double prints, triple prints, etc., right? Compared to, something like this, where this is a very thick bell curve, right? And there's been a lot of business done. There's been a lot of time spent in this area compared to this, where there has not been a lot of time spent in this area. If price does not spend a lot of time in an area, that means that there's not structure there. There's not a lot of liquidity there, which further means that it's easier for price to move back through those levels, right? I think of these profiles or price itself kind of like a brick wall, and the TPO, the time price opportunity profile, this side of the market profile, represents this visually very well, because you can kind of think of it like, a brick wall. The more letters there are, the more prints there are, the more bricks are there, the more liquidity is there, the thicker it is, the more difficult it is for price to chew through that area. If it is very thin, it is very easy, or much easier comparatively, for price to move through these areas. So, with that said, I will be releasing a market profile course very soon. So if you guys are interested in learning more about how these concepts work, how auction theory works, how the profile in general works, stay tuned for that. That will be coming out probably within the next month, 4 to 6 weeks, I would say. So we got a lot of things coming out. We got Quant Suite coming out. We got more indicators coming out. We have very, very cool Delta order flow pack that is coming out very soon that I will be showing you guys shortly. And we got a lot of stuff to look forward to. So I just wanted to throw that out there. So that is what I will be paying attention to. It won't take much for us to get to this naked POC if we do see some sell side pressure. And really, that stands on both sides. There's not a lot of structure on either side. So whichever way, strength decides to move towards, we are likely going to see some nice reaction there. So keep an eye out for that tomorrow morning. So that, without taking up too much of your guys' time, is what I will be looking at on NQ session profile. ES is very, very similar. You guys can see here. But first, I want to go to the NQ weekly profile and just show you guys what I would be looking at here. So firstly, I want to show you guys that the monthly volume composite is obviously just starting right here, but this is this 13,250 level, okay? So this is right around this POC, about 30 points away from Friday. So 13,250 is technically right here, where there is, not a ton of structure. So if we move above that, then once again, very likely that we do get a move up to Friday's high to test it, to see if we get some buyers accepting price above that area. All right, so what I have done here is I've loaded weekly profile data from around August of 2022, just so you guys can get an idea of some of these upside levels without me having to load, hundreds of days of weekly profile data on the same chart. So you can see here, this is where we are currently right here, 13,215. And this is the August 31st weekly profile from 2022. This is the August 22nd weekly profile. This is the August 15th weekly profile from 2022. So technically, we do have naked POCs. We are just about to tap this naked POC, or if we, we're very likely to tap it, tomorrow. We're 10 points away from it right now. But if we tap 13,225 in a regular trading hours session, we are tapping, this POC from August. We've got a level that we haven't seen actually since August 15th, 13,821. So that is a naked POC that I think is very likely for us to move up to if we do see some upside pressure. So above our most recent high, which what we were just looking at is 13,311, right? That's right here. That's last week's high, 13,311. That is what I'm going to be looking at for a very important move up to this 13.5K level. We haven't been there since August of 2022. And I think that if we see some further upside pressure, we are very likely to get a move into 13,435, 13,515-ish. And then, you can see that this is a little zone here being created by the weekly high from August 22nd, 2022, and the August 15th weekly profile from 2022. So that's an important area, and a move above that very likely brings us up to 13,820 to tap this naked POC from August 2022. So that is where I'm looking at on the upside. Now I'm going to go back to the NQ weekly profile, and we'll just talk about downside real quick. On the downside, first and foremost, you can see not last week's high, but the week before that, we have the high from that weekly profile at 1382. And that is actually lining up with this low from Friday as well. So there's some good confluence there. And of course, we have that session session naked POC at 13,063 there. So good confluence there. If we do see further downside, look for a move down to that naked POC. Last week's value area high is 13,060, basically 1359 and a quarter. So that's a very important level. Break below that likely gets us another 60 points down to 12,990-ish. And then I would be looking for a larger move if we break like 13K and get rejected from 13K to the downside. I would be looking at a move probably about 200 points further to the downside. We do have 12,880-ish, which is the weekly high from the weekly profile of February 13th. But below that, I'd be looking at 12,810. You can see that we have 12,811. That is the weekly high from the week of March 13th. And then we have the value area low from the week of March 20th there at 734, as well as the POC from that same week at 804. So a lot of confluence there. So those are some levels to keep an eye out for on a larger time frame on the downside. All right, so similar scenario on ES, looking for a reaction to Friday's high, 41.4250. Right now, we are trading right around Friday's value area high at 41.27 and a quarter. And it's going to be interesting to see if we can hold above value, holding above value, doing business above there, filling in these prints so they're not just double prints. Up here is going to be a good sign for further upside price action. So we'll talk about that more on the weekly candlestick charts. I'll point out some levels on the ES weekly candlestick charts as well. that will line up with the ES weekly profile. And, that's what I will be looking at. I'll be looking towards those prior weekly levels, just like we were looking at on NQ back from August of 2022. But so let's look at the downside on the session profile as well. So downside, I will be looking at a move to 41.14, and then we have the most confluence here between the overnight high from Thursday into Friday and Friday's value low at 40.97. You can see the overnight highs at 40.9850. So this is going to be a very important level to keep an eye on. Break below that, we have a naked POC to the downside on ES, just like we did NQ. So first and foremost, break below 40.97 likely gets us about a 10-point move down to Friday's low at 40.88. So that's a good trade opportunity right there. You can see we have a ton of market profile levels lining up within just a few points of each other. So 40.86, the Wednesday into Thursday overnight high. We have 40.87, the Thursday regular trading hours high. We have, what is this level right here? 40.85 is the Thursday into Friday overnight POC. And then, of course, 40.8850 is Friday's low. So that is a major area right here. So if we do see downside pressure, I mean, we've got this area where we've got 4 stacked market profile levels lining up. And then right below that, we've got a naked POC that's also lining up with the overnight low from Thursday into Friday. So a lot of confluence for downside, but one level at a time as we have to take it. So with that said, we'll pop over to the ES weekly profile real quick. You can see a very similar situation. I'm really looking for acceptance above this 41.40 level, because acceptance above that really just continues to confirm the change in behavior on the macro. And to me, that is, you can see that we were making, lower highs, right? The weekly highs were getting lower. Then our value area started to balance out, right? Value started to overlap instead of value moving down, which is bearish. Value started to overlap. We had, a lower value area here, but it was still overlapping with this prior value area back in the beginning of March. And then we had the weekly value start to move up. So if that's what we see, if we see continuation of weekly value continuing to move up, then that is further confirming to me that the macro change in behavior is indeed present and continuing. So I want to switch gears for a second into the candlestick charts and just show you guys, in my opinion, how nice this structure is. So as I've been talking about for a long time, you guys can go back for weeks, months, me talking about this structure, waiting for this structure to happen. We have the weekly 3-step shift, which is bullish divergence, then higher low. And we have another higher low confirmed on the weekly chart. And not only do we have another higher low, 2 consecutive higher lows, we have 1, 2, 3 consecutive higher highs. And for the last 3 weekly candles, they've been nice and strong, very bullish. We have the oscillators now looking like they're catching a bit of support on the 50 level on the weekly chart. We have volatility contracting, which is a bit inconclusive, and we have the PMARP curling and crossing to the downside. So that could signify a bit of a pullback, but I want to be clear that unless we break this low at like 11,780, we are still macro bullish. So we could come all the way back down, over 1,000 points. I want to be very clear. We could come back down over 1,000 points and still be bullish. We could come all the way back here, put in a higher low, and then continue, and we'd still be in, a weekly macro uptrend. So I just wanted to point that out. It still looks good. I think that we are moving back up towards this high at 13.9K to retest this area. And, it could be a situation where if we move above this, we are then testing like 14.3. I'm looking at this area back from April on the run up. And then after that, I would be looking at the next area. Just give me one moment to reload my charts here. There we go. So I'd be looking at this area right here, which is April 16th, 2021, 14.4K. And then after that, I would be looking at 15.25K. So 15,000, call it 15,200. And this is a nice area that we rejected from, put in a lower high on the weekly, and then proceeded to continue down for the rest of the year. So if we work above this, or we work to this level, this 13.9K level, that is going to be very, very important to see what kind of reaction we get there. So just wanted to point that out. We'll flip over to ES real quick, and I'll start to wrap things up here. But you'll notice that ES is pretty darn similar structure, and things look good for further upside, you know, until the macro environment changes. All right, so what I would be looking at on ES is the next level is a lot closer. You know, this 4178 level is going to be an important level to move above. I really like to focus on the bodies. I don't pay a ton of attention to the wicks. You know, if we do move above these wicks here, that's likely going to get us a further push up. But, you know, first order of business is moving above these bodies that we are about to test. If we can move above, you know, 4,250, then we're likely, in my opinion, to get a test about 100 points, 110 points higher around 4360-ish. And we'll see, you know, if price continues to remain bullish. But overall, you know, I don't want to sound too crazy, but this could be like a giant macro bull flag. I've been talking about this for a while. And if you look back in history, obviously past performance does not equal future results. But as I always like to say, if this is a 377 tick chart, I would be in. I would be in either here or here or here. And for what it's worth, you know, I have, you know, put on macro positions based on the same setups that I take on a 377 tick chart that is, you know, for those not familiar, equivalent to like a 30-second chart. I trade the same exact setups on the 377 tick that I do on the daily or the weekly or anywhere in between. So, you know, this is a beautiful setup. It is extremely high probability. And this is a setup or a strategy that we teach within the Fundamentals of Futures Trading course called the 3-step shift. So I just wanted to point this out, that the 3-step shift on both the ES and NQ weekly charts, still very much intact, still looking very, very bullish. And we will take it one step at a time. Obviously, the weekly charts don't matter a ton to us as intraday traders. But when we talk about the macro environment and I do these weekly forecasts, it's important for me, in my opinion, to discuss, you know, what the candlestick charts are looking at as well. So you guys can have, you know, a bit more of a connection between what I'm discussing on the profile and what we see here on the candlestick charts. So with that said, I want to thank you guys very much, as always, for taking the time to watch this content. If you do like what you see, I would greatly appreciate it if you would like, subscribe, and click that bell notification to be notified every single time we post videos here on the channel. I want to also remind you guys once again that the volatility pack is now available on our website, and we are also offering free trials. We will also be offering free trials to the Pro Trader bundle or the indicator package, which is within the Pro Trader bundle, very soon. And if you guys want to learn more about that, you can check that out on our website at thetradingnetwork.io, where, of course, you can purchase the Pro Trader bundle on a payment plan. You can purchase all of the products within the Pro Trader bundle standalone as well, in addition to one-on-one mentorship with me if you are looking for a more catered and tailored experience to your specific strengths and weaknesses as a trader. Of course, if you guys have any questions about any of these products, please feel free to drop a comment down below. You can also shoot us an email at info@thetradingnetwork.io or shoot us a DM on Instagram, and we will get back to you as soon as we possibly can and help any way we can. Thank you one more time. I appreciate you, and I will see you in the next video. Cheers.